Hello, it is the 16th of July and welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. I'm delighted that you are choosing to spend a few moments of your time with me. I hope this is the last time I have to make this announcement. I swear Mercury's getting ready to go direct again. For any donations, the way to make that happen, it now is corrected in that little box below me. So you go to PayPal and you type in the words Soulprint 888 at gmail.com, and that is what works. And for a while there was a link there that was a bunch of numbers and letters. That doesn't work, and I'm positive, I think, that that has now been corrected in that little box below me. And by the way, thank you very much for people who are adding to my abundance with donations and booking private readings. That's really wonderful and grateful, and I appreciate it. So, I have a question. How corrupt do we actually think William Barr is? Today, I'm going to follow my notes here. William Barr decided, despite the DOJ's Civil Rights Division opinion, that the officer, or officers, I think it was one, that was involved in that chokehold that caused the untimely death of Eric Gardner does not need to be charged. And the most horrible thought kind of entered my mind when I heard that. And it really is sort of in keeping with the Trump attitude. It was that he's just, he's just a guy of color and he doesn't really contribute anything. And that's just one less person we have to take care of and worry about. So let's just not fuss about it. And in some ways, that really is a reflection of Trump and his attitude. It's all about, if we can eliminate the people who are a drag on society, well, it's just less for us to worry about and take care of. And that is like horrible, horrible, horrible. And I'm hoping that where my thoughts went is not accurate. I think they might be, but I'm really hoping that they're not. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick spread on William Barr and just see how deep he's in. And, mindful of the fact that ultimately, hey, Jerry, that ultimately William Barr can, pull a lot of strings when it comes to state cases and how those work. So let's be really hopeful that he stays out of and continues to stay out of the Assange case, or sorry, not the Assange, the Epstein case. Let's just do the cards. So my question is going to be, come on down. So my question is, William Barr. What do we think the tarot would like to tell us about William Barr these days? Oh, okay. So, he didn't understand that when you're dealing with Trump, it's not a one favor and done. He didn't get the fact that once you've done one thing for Trump, he takes that as the signal or the sign that you are prepared to just continue and do everything and anything he wants, because he has always operated with that blind, not only blind loyalty, but more, he has a way of sort of communicating and sort of creating a dialogue that makes you, it puts you in a position where you really can't argue with him, or you're going to get confrontational about everything. So he didn't get that just screwing with the Mueller report and its release. He thought that was going to be enough. I don't know who or what he was paying attention to in the last 18 months, but apparently he wasn't paying close enough attention. So now he's in a bit of a quandary, right? Because it's like, well, I did what you asked, and what do you mean there's all this other stuff that you want me to do for you? He didn't get it. I guess he's a smart man, but he obviously wasn't paying attention, because even despite the fact that in his head he believes that the president has these incredibly expansive powers, he didn't quite understand that it wasn't that the president wanted his Roy Cohn for one thing. He wants him day in and day out and day in and day out. And Barr sees that his work, his hard work, his reputation, that which he has acquired, is on the line. It doesn't matter how hard he works at this point. He's going to continue to be called on to do Trump's bidding. It was all about the money. It was all about the money. I don't know what the man has. I don't know what sort of financial stresses or strains he is under, but he was lured by the money, and there's dark money in there somehow. There's something going on that it's not quite on the up and up, and he worries about it. He is in distress. He's really worried that he's going to get taken down. I mean, the 9 of Swords with the 10 of Swords sitting over top of it. This isn't good. He's going to come to an ending that is not going to be auspicious. It's not going to be a good ending for him. And anything that he built in the past is completely destroyed. So he's in for a bit of a tough ride. He was supposed to represent the government and represent the government's laws and its sort of standards. And he didn't understand that, he thought that they were pliable. It was as if he thought, well, this can be flexed. And you know what? Justice will be victorious in the end. Not only will the bad energy, the bad attitudes, the negativeness, and the sort of just attitudes that he has brought into DOJ will survive it, and they will thrive, and justice is going to prevail almost in spite of him. Okay, the government is strong, and it may take a little bit of time to correct, but it will hold. I mean, I guess that's it. You can sort of look at the government these days almost like as a levee, right? That thing that is just, it's straining, it's struggling, but it is holding back the flood of extreme corruption. And that's not to say there isn't any, and there's not to say that there's some significant corruption that has crept through. But by and large, it'll hold. Yeah, I mean, he kind of came in as a mercenary, right? He came in to, he was a gun for hire, frankly. I can't think of another way to say it. He was just simply a gun for hire. He was going to get the message that Trump wanted out. He was being rewarded for it, and now he has made the deal with the devil, and his fall will happen, guaranteed. So, thoughts and prayers to the family, please, of Eric Gardner. And I know when I say thoughts and prayers to my amazing viewers, it's just not an expression. It is, in fact, an act of love compassion and kindness when that kind of energy is sent out. So, William Barr. The next thing that I have a question about is Giuliani. What's the story with him? So yesterday, this just, it made me laugh. So, there's all of this stuff going on with Epstein and who was where and who visited him and who had massages while they were there. And apparently, Giuliani came out with this statement that, yes, he received massages. No, it was not with underage anybody. And more importantly, he absolutely could not have participated in any sexual activities. Are you ready? Because he kept his underwear on. That was it. That's a story, and he's sticking to it. So as I said to my girlfriend last night, I wonder if those boxers were dangling off of his big toe, if that actually still qualifies as keeping his boxers on. I want to know what's going on with Giuliani. In some ways, it's kind of been nice because he sort of vanished a little bit, and he at least is not contributing to the pollution of the airwaves. But I want to know what happened to him. I want to know why he's sort of been quiet. So, come on down. Let's see if we can find out. Okay, let's do a couple more quick shuffles, and we're focusing on Rudy Giuliani, who kept his underwear on. Good Lord. Honestly. Rudy Giuliani. Like, I can't even say his name properly. He's a laughing stock. He is a joke. He is an insult to, frankly, even who and what he was in the past, or the reputation he had in the past. And he is certainly an insult to lawyers everywhere. Rudy Giuliani. He's an attention whore. There is not another word for it. That's what he is. That is what he's all about. When he sort of faded, however many years ago, when he sort of got quiet, right? After he had the big milestones and successes in his life, and he kind of eased into, a sort of a retirement state, or he was just quieter. He really, really missed it. I mean, he thrives on notoriety and attention. And if being part of Trump's inner circle was what he had to do to get that emotional adulation, he was literally prepared to do it. He was prepared to sell his soul. He was prepared to fight whatever fights needed to be fought, no matter how ludicrous or stupid he sounded. Because two things. One, he really only does get his opinions and his news from those super conservative sites, Fox News and the newspapers and the, other formats that cater to that attitude. So in some ways, he actually thought he was winning, okay? He actually thought that this was going, he was doing a great job. And he felt that he was fighting the fight. But make no mistake, he was fighting the fight because he wanted the emotional comfort and the emotional... he needed his ego fed, and that was what was going to feed it. He completely did whatever he needed to do for Donald Trump. He would ride into his defense. He would make statements that were insane, that made no sense. I want to know what's going on with him now. Why did he disappear? Where is he gone? Okay. He's sort of been pushed to the side a little bit. And honestly, with this Epstein thing going on, he may very well discover he's pushed even farther to the side. He poses too much like others. He poses there's too much energy around him that completely connects to Trump, and anything having to do certainly with Epstein and Trump, and it's not good. I mean, that is why these distractions are ramping up out of the White House, because they really need to find a way to pivot. They have to find a distraction to keep stuff away from the Epstein and Trump connection. And just energetically, I want to say that that's probably one area where William Barr will not interfere in that legal process, simply because the connection to Trump is too strong, and it would cause, like, not a red flag, but red explosions. So they want to keep any sort of sexual innuendo, anything having to do with that, as far away from Trump as they can. Okay, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. He's still going to get smeared, as well he should be. But, so, again, Giuliani made his deal with the devil because he wanted the adulation. Oh, and it didn't hurt that it was going to fill his coffers a little bit, right? There was payment that were being made. The exposure, the thought of exposure terrifies him. He is going to start pushing back a little bit even more than his "I kept my underwear on" statement. It's not going to work for him. He's not going to come out ahead. He's going to end up exposed. And sadly, it appears that some people, even within those he thought were his circle, they're actually going to take a little bit of joy of bringing him down a little bit. And there could be, look for some unexpected leaks of information about Giuliani coming out, as people are sort of just sharpening their knives. They're just sharpening their knives behind him. And so that's interesting. So, one final thing before I go, and this is sort of an interesting something. And we're working our way through trying to figure out, one, if you are interested in this information being passed along to you, and two, exactly how we're going to do that. I have a friend who I have known for 30 years. She is incredibly talented. She's very gifted. And she has a really unusual way of accessing information. She is incredibly private. This is not a request for or a solicitation in any way, shape, or form for exposure. But she was watching the reading, I think it was 2 days ago now. And she phoned me up and she said, "You're not going to believe this." She said, "But I literally just got a flash of Julius Caesar." And she said there's the connection between, or the correlation between the attitudes of Caesar and Trump, like literally, dancing while Rome burns, is there. And I was saying to her, I have a viewer who keeps asking me if if Trump is the reincarnation. And she said, actually, I think it could be Epstein. And she said, you should take a good look at what brought Julius Caesar down. And ultimately, it was his closest advisors that brought him down, that, stabbed him and got rid of him. So if you're interested in hearing kind of that version and what she saw and what her vision showed, just quick little yes, no, I'm not interested, would love to hear it. And if I get a really good response and you guys appear to be really interested in that, then not this week because we're still dealing with my mom and her move, but next week or the following week, we'll figure out a way to hook up and pass that information along to you. So That's it for today. I'm off to help my mother pack, etc., etc. Until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you really soon. Bye-bye.